Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. In the last part, I think we did the Easter event, the Hatching Tide, I think? It's been a while. Been a while. We are here, we're back in Charlayan. We got I finally got Alchemist to level 90. We're making good progress. I only have one more job to get to level 90 and everything will be maxed out. But since we got an Alchemist at level 90, we are able to do the final Studium questline in the Charlayan. Now, there is a little bit of a wrap-up quest, similarly to how there was with the Crystarium stuff. So I will make that wrap-up quest its own little video, because it's pretty involved, because I did it in my other character. So, let's just go through this, and then I'll make that wrap-up quest its own little part. So, Deborah Yee? I'm gonna call you Deb. What's up, Deb? Greetings, madam. I'm Deb, a student of the nutritional sciences from Professor Galroach's research laboratory at... pray excuse me, at your service. Are you sick? Are you alright? If I'm not mistaken, you're the alchemist who has come to us by the way of Key Aliapo's introduction, yes? Yes. Wonderful! I'd very much like to request your help with a certain... Oh, jeez. Are you alright, Leas? Forgive me, my stomach is not entirely at its best. I can relate to that on some levels. I had a really bad... my stomach was not... I had a pretty bad stomach pains the other day, so I can relate. Professor Galvaroach bid me try a new sample of a newly created combustible, you see. The taste was, well, then the texture, oh dear. Perhaps you should just experience it firsthand. One mouthful is worth 1,000 words and all that. I don't want to. You should probably join me over at Maker's Meat and I can initiate you in the wonders of experimental foodstuffs. I don't want to do this. I don't want food poisoning! No, it looks like you got food poisoning and I don't want it. Oh. Don't want it. But I guess I have no choice. Alright. Thank you ever so much for coming. Let's set the table for you, shall we? Oh, my audio's like bugging out. What's up with my audio? Well, it's bugging up for me. I don't know if it's bugging up for the recording. Turn off the image. Image off. Oops, wrong image. Where's my where's the right image? There it is. All right. One first inspection, it seems to be an ordinary loaf of bread, yes? Now, try a slice. Oh, jeez. Food poisoning! The initial flavor is like a rush of indescribable hatred, which gradually transitions into a sense of deep and abiding despair. It is quite possibly the worst thing you have ever eaten. Doesn't it taste awful? I mean, that's a pretty good description. When it comes to the perfect meal, flavor is irrelevant. I don't know about that. Professor Galvaroach, I wasn't... Why, the very concept of gourmet cuisine has led to all manner of unhealthy excess. Too much salt, too much sugar, and entirely too much fatty content is employed in the pursuit of satisfying this obsession with taste. The panel loaf we are laboring so hard to produce will contain everything necessary to sustain an adult body in one efficient, easily consumed serving. As I said, the perfect meal. Perfect meal for dieting, maybe. Professor, if I might introduce. By Thaliac, all this time wasted on idle chatter. If we are ever to attain true perfection, then every spare moment must be spent upon our research. Your task was to improve the panel loaf's digestibility, was it not? Then let's be getting on with it. Swift, sure, efficient. Oh, Jesus. This guy looks like a right peach to work under. You must excuse the professor's brusque manner. I know he seems eccentric, but the field of nutritional science was particularly built upon the foundation of that man's research. Surely you've heard of the infamous Archon loaf. It was Professor Galvaroche who proposed the recipe. In any case, I do apologize for serving you such a foul-tasting creation, but I needed you to understand the gravity of the situation. Come to the last stand, I shall offer you something to cleanse your palate while I more fully explain the issue at hand. Oh, joy. At least I get treated to an actual meal. Alright. I need to get this bad taste out of my mouth. That was a pretty good way to describe it, though. So we got the patch for 6.4 coming out tomorrow. That's exciting. Usually when they do these patches, it's a 24-hour maintenance the day before, but for some reason it's not 24-hour maintenance this time around. Servers do go down at 10 p.m. Eastern though, so it gives me plenty of time to get this stuff out of the way. Deb, pray take a seat and I shall be with you in a moment. I hope you still have an appetite. Well, I haven't thrown up yet. Not quite sure why the audio's bugging out. It's bugging out for me, but I don't know if it's bugging out for the recording. Is it just me or is the video lagging too? You know what? Let me restart OBS real quick. Alright. Let's see if this is more smooth. When I'm not studying, I actually work here in the kitchens, and that one under there is a dish I devised myself with using all the knowledge I've acquired about food and flavor. Enjoy! Looks delicious compared to what I just ate. Incredible, so my tongue's been purified by some divine nectar. I'm so glad you liked it. What you do is you take a lobster, freshly caught from the Indigo Deep, scoop up the meat, and saute it with butter and olive oil. Next, you're steaming the white wine, but you must take care not to overcook it at this point. You then need to stuff it back into the shell, sprinkle liberally with thyme, or oregano, and rosemary before baking in the oven at a steady heat, not too hot of course, and then... She's going into very detail about it. No, whatever you did was delicious. I'll take your word for it. She's very passionate. My apologies, as you may notice, cooking is something of a passion of mine. Which brings us to my present problem, and the reason I so desperately require your assistance. It all began when agents of the forum contacted Professor Galvaroche about seeking to draw upon his wisdom and the nutritional expertise of his research facility. Their request was simple. They wished him to invent a singular meal that could provide all the daily nutrients a person needs to survive. They expressed their intent to develop a food supply for emergencies, and thus the only condition imposed was that it would be possible to prepare this miracle dish from ingredients readily available in the labyrinthos. For his part, the professor threw himself into the work of routine intensity, using Archon loaf as a base to devise a new type of bread, the most recent batch of which I inflicted upon you earlier. Archon loaf was never praised for its flavor to begin with, and it seems the more nutrients you pack into the mix, the more revolting it becomes. Some volunteers have ever been known to retch up the contents of their bellies after choking down a sample. I can relate. Suspecting that a difficulty with digestion was to blame, Professor Galvaroche asked that I work on making our meal easier to stomach. But the fact is, it simply tastes terrible. Can you imagine if there truly was some emergency and we were forced to live on panel loaf alone? People would survive, of course, but gods would they wish they hadn't. To make matters worse, the professor sees gourmet cooking as a wasteful abomination. If the foreigner adopts his recipe, then there's a very real chance that might champion panel loaf not only as a candidate for emergency supplies. Oh shit, I skipped it. By and large, Charlatan preferred meals that are easily prepared, easily consumed over more flavorful and less time efficient culinary efforts. Scholars busy with their research will settle for sandwiches more often than not. And And that ambivalent attitude towards food is exactly why I feel this horrible bread might actually be accepted into our daily diets. As a Charlatan myself, I would never have much interest in fine dining. Then I tried a dish at the last stand, and it was as if an entirely new world had opened up before me. I soon discovered that a course in nutritional science would grant access to a vast repository of information on recipes and ingredients, so I enrolled as a student in the studying faculty of medicine. But their approach to food preparation was purely academic. Utilitarian? Utilitarian? Is that how you would say it? Alright, is my audio lagging or is it just me? Hang on. Alright, I don't think it's my audio. I think it's more my headset. That's cause why I'm thinking it's lagging is because I'm getting like these little static, this bit of static popping up in my headset. I think it's just my headphones is the problem. I mean, these headphones are pretty old. I mean, I'm surprised these haven't stopped working. Yeah, these things have taken a beating over the years. So I think that's what it is. I think the headphones are causing static for me, but not the recording. So it's fine. We're all good. I seasoned that if I was to learn anything about gourmet cooking, then finding employment here would be the surest route. In fact, I was still on the brink of abandoning my formal studies altogether when this request came in from the forum. As a lover of fine foods, nay, as a person with a functional tongue, I'm compelled to prevent this crime against cuisine from entering society in its current form. Fortunately, I have the opportunity to improve the panel's flavor under the guise of carrying out the professor's instructions. It will, however, be exceedingly difficult to enhance the taste without sacrificing any nutritional value, especially considering my lack of practical experience. My theory is sound, but when it comes to technical expertise... And that, my dear alchemist, is why I need you! If you decide to help, then please, I beg of you, come see me at Maker's Meat. Alright. I think this would be perfect for a culinarian, not an alchemist, but that's just me. I mean, what can I do? But then again, you have alchemists like Ryza who can just make buildings out of nothing, so... You know? Anything's possible, I guess, in this world. Alright. Deb, there you are. Can I assume that means you wish to aid me in my panel predicament? No one else must suffer as I have. Then I gladly accept your assistance. Praise the scholar for bringing us this savior in our hour of need. Oh dear, man, I just realized. How could I put you through all that and not ask your name? Alright. Well then, Seth, I look forward to working with you. Perfect. Faculty of Medicine! Alright. Let's get straight down to business, shall we? The main problem with the panel loaf is that the recipe calls for a wide variety of wholesome substances, resulting in an extremely eclectic and subsequently extremely disgusting mixture of flavors. Now, I managed to bake a slightly less repulsive version of it just by adjusting the balance of ingredients, but the taste remains indistinct and unsatisfying. It needs seasoning of some kind, and badly. To that end, I put together a recipe for a sweetener using those materials, which are readily available in labyrinthos. Not in any moment, but which would contradict our healthy and nutritional mandate, of course. Concocting the sweetener itself, however, is a job for the experts, and so I'd like to entrust it to you. Very soon we'll have taken our first step in making the panel loaf halfway enjoyable. Alright. So, similarly to what with the previous, that's not what I want. I'm gonna craft all of these so they're all ready to go. You need 6 of them in total. Obviously, these are quest related, but I have all the ingredients necessary to make all of these, so I'm gonna make them. So once they're all made, we'll be back, and we can zerg through this. Alright, I have made the items I need to go forward, so let us do it. Let's proceed. Let's proceed onwards, shall we? So, yeah. Here's your sugar, or your sweetener. Not your sugar. Take it like it! Thank you, Cecil. After trying a little taste, I can safely say that you've managed to hit the sweet spot. Not overly mild, but not overly rich. Yes! With your sweetener added to the mix, I went ahead and baked the second test batch of loaf. As for the result, well, I took some samples over to the last stand for the customers to try it. And they said the taste was passable, which is a significant improvement over the nausea-inducing wretchedness of the original recipe. As I had hoped, a little sweetness was instrumental in tying the myriad flavors together. The key here being a little sweetness. We wouldn't want to go overboard and endanger the nutritional balance of our perfect meal. Oh, I'm told one of our regulars is at his table today, and he is a man with a decidedly particular palate. I want to head over there and ask for his impression of our second batch. Do I have to? God. Oh, it takes me straight there. Convenient. If I may ask, what do you think of the bread, sir? Not bad, not bad. I give the flavor a passing grade. The texture, however, needs some attention. The texture. It is not overly noticeable, but with the bite-sized sample, but after one or two full slices, I fear one might begin to struggle with a somewhat dry and powdery consistency. I had not considered that. Thank you for your most valuable insight, sir. We will most certainly keep that in mind for our future batches. Alright, getting positive feedback. Well, that was a much needed reminder. In my rush to enhance the flavor, I've neglected to account for changes in the texture. Introducing the sweetener must have affected the consistency of the dough. Nothing is ever simple, is it? Improving the texture will be our next task then. I'll give the problem some thought, and then we can work together on creating the solution. Alright. I'm a reliable baker. Alright. Cecil, my partner in panel of improvement. I've been researching the subject of texture, and I think I found the cause for our powdery problem. The answer lies in the yeast. It seems the sugar content of the sweetener weakens the usual effects, preventing the dough from being fully leavened. Which means that if we can create a yeast more properly suited to sweetened dough, then our bread will be as moist as we care to make it. Knowing, however, is not quite the same as doing. While I understand the basics from scratch, it is rather beyond my current abilities. Once more, I must call upon you to rise to the occasion. Sorry. You're so funny. Alright. I don't know if my game audio is too low. Guess I can get it all done prep for the patch tomorrow. There you go, lass. I'm gonna switch my headphones real quick. Alright, I tried to repair headphones to see if I can stop the crackling sound on my headset, but I was getting that problem on that other headset too, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. Might be an OBS thing on my end, but I don't think it's being caught in the recording, so that's all that matters. Thanks for your hard work. The third test batch of panel loaf turned out just as moist as we'd hoped, and all without compromising the original integrity of its nutritional content. It was well received by the clientele at the last stand. Even more difficult to please, regular gave it his seal of approval. I would, however, like to hear the opinion of the, to my knowledge, foremost gourmand in Charlayan. I speak of Master Dickon, the owner of the last stand. Everything I know about gourmet cooking, I owe to that man. Come, why don't we go and see what he has to say? Sure. Master Dickon. Master Dickon, what did you think of the third batch? Alright, it's a decent loaf, alright. Alright, just want to make sure my mic audio is actually recording. It was certainly a far cry from what you started with, and that, with that very, for a sample, tasting like sponge fished out of the sewer ditch. I expect you have your new friend to thank for this sudden leap in progress. Deb's effort made all the difference. I swore a vendetta against that foul-tasting evil. Oh, my dear sis, you are a gourmet after my own heart, a crusader for culinary quality. Be that as it may, you yet have work to do. You've worked wonders with the taste and its texture, but there is no aroma. It needs a savory scent to draw you in and set your mouth to watering. So it isn't smelly enough. The road to gastronomic excellence is never ending, it seems. But if that is what it takes to earn your full approval, then we must bake on. As you may remind me of old Mervyn. He was the fellow who built this place and dedicated his life to bringing fine food to Charlayan. That life ended before he truly accomplished his goal, and the last stand passed on to me. Even now, gourmet cooking remains something of a foreign concept in this nation. It's the kind of place where puffed-up experts like your professor label their nutritional experiments the perfect meal. As if anything with such a revolting flavor could ever be deemed perfect. Listen, the last stand was named so for a reason. We're a cultural outpost, the final defense against those who would condemn Charlayan's diet to blandness and monotony. If you share Mervin's dream, and I believe you do, then I implore you to carry on his legacy. Alright, I can do that. After hearing what Master Dickon had to say, I'm more determined than ever to make a truly perfected panel loaf. As before, allow me to sometime to cogiate. What? Something or other. Allow me to sometime to cog on the problem, and we can see what about adding a tantalizing aroma to the next batch of bread. Alright, you do you. Alright, I'm a baker. This should be more appropriate for a culinarian. I'm not quite sure what an alchemist has to do with this, but okay. I think I have it, Tesla. A method to infuse the panel with a more alluring aroma. The key is to blend a more fragrant oil into the dough, which will not only lend our bread a lovely scent, but also improve its savory flavor. Oils and fats need to be kept to the absolute minimum, of course, so we'll need a variety that provides the greatest effect for the smallest amount. I have a basic idea of how a low-fat aromatic substance might be achieved, but oil require... Oh, you're so funny! What oil require help with the advanced process involved to make it? Sorry, that was terrible. That was terrible. Don't be a comedian. Stay in the food industry. Because being a comedian is not your forte. Here you go. My oils are spread all around. Gracious me, that smells incredible. I'm actually drooling. Once we've worked on that aroma into the bread, people will be lining up to try a slice. know what I have in my inventory? I'll talk about that some other time. I'm gonna talk about about the shit that's in my inventory tomorrow when patch goes live. We've done it, Cecil. The aromatic temptation of our fourth batch has proven irresistible. The last stand patrons have even started placing orders for us to bake more. And in a happy coincidence, the new oil has also started to plump up our loaf until it resembles a small, scrumptious cloud. I even measured the fat content just in case, and we're all well within the accepted parameters. Surely now we've achieved true bakery perfection. Suppose there's only way to find out. Let's head over to the cafe and ask for Master Dickens' verdict. Master Dickens, don't leave us in suspense. Nope. This is unacceptable. Uh-oh. I cannot have you baking bread that's more delicious than mine. You've outdone yourselves this time. Foam marks. Yes. Mission accomplished. Now that we have the master's unconditional approval, I believe the signal is an end to our testing process. We make a wonderful team, Cecil. How disappointed to find you frittering away the hours like this, and here of all places. You set aside my assignment on digestive issues to pursue the trivial art of gourmet cooking. I'll not deny it. That is exactly what I've been doing. And let me tell you why. The problem with panel was never a difficulty with digestion. It was the awful taste that was making people feel ill. Unless you believe our efforts are in vain, then I ask that you try a sample of our fourth test batch. I think you'll find the flavor much improved. Nay, I have no interest in your mundane concerns over flavor. The very subject sickens me. What I will do, however, is analyze the nutritional value of your much improved panel loaf. We'll see if it even meets the criteria for a proper meal substitute. God damn, this guy's a Debbie Downer. I must inform you that your fourth test batch is a failure. It is sorely lacking in ascorbic acid, a vital nutrient which any prospective meal replacement must contain. Deficient levels of ascorbic acid lead to outbreaks of scurvy. This is an illness which often inflicts sailors on long sea voyages and can also be prevalent in times of famine and hardship. Citrus fruits are an effective measure to combat scurvy, but one cannot always rely on a fresh supply of oranges or lemons. As such, the perfect meal of choice is one which readily fulfills that role. I had already succeeded in adding this nutrient to my original panel loaf, and I'm prepared to make my submission to the forum. But the acid? How did you... You expect me to review my techniques to one who so blatantly disregarded my instructions? I'm sorry, Miss Deb, but you are hereby relieved from your current duty. So be it. I will perfect our version of panel loaf without your assistance and submit the recipe as a contender to your own. A contest, then. And maybe the best bread win. However, in the event that your recipe fails to garner the forum's favor, I will see you disciplined for the misuse of research funding. Your punishment will be expulsion from the research facility, nay, from the study itself. Professor Galbaroach, if you're so intent on ruining my employee's future, then I think I'm entitled to a question or two. From what old Mervyn told me, the two of you were once classmates. More than that, you're good friends. So I'd like to understand. Why do you hold so much hate for the thing he held so dear? He doesn't have a sweet tooth, that's why. Mervyn was an exceptional student, but he threw away his academic career for the love of a well-made meal. This cafe he built, the incessant taste testing, not more than excuses to indulge in course after course of gourmet food and drink. 'Twas reckless pursuit of that passion which sent him to an early grave. Your fine dining is a curse. It befuddled the mind of a brilliant young man. I don't know, said young man. I slew him as surely as any slow-acting poison. Now, if you have nothing further to say, I must return to my research. Swift, sure, efficient. Alright, this guy's an asshole. This guy's more of an asshole than the one from, Not the previous study that we did, but the first one. I had no idea Professor and Mervin were ever acquainted, let alone classmates and friends. At least now I understand why my actions upset him so. But we cannot give up. For the sake of Charlane's bellies, we must help him win the forum's minds. You can count on me. Our crusade for culinary quality continues. Thank you, Cecil. I shall figure out this issue with the scorbic acid, and then we can start on a test batch number 5. Although, I think it's time we had a proper name for our panel loaf. I nominate Mervin Bread in honor for the Last Stand's founder. Let's get the oven heated up and show the professor what our loaves are made of. All right, it's a cook-off. I'm an irreplaceable baker. All right, yeah, this guy's more of an asshole than Ruisha over there. I think this guy outdoes Ruru. At least Jero was a decent man. As Professor Galbro so eagerly pointed out, our Mervin Bear cannot be considered a perfect meal until we loaded it with sufficient quantity of ascorbic acid. The problem is all the citrus fruit varieties grown in labyrinthos have distressingly low values of this key nutrient. They say it has something to do with how the false sun cannot entirely replace the efforts of natural sunlight. Thus, for our purposes, we are unlikely to improve the Mervin Bread's levels of ascorbic acid simply by adding a labyrinthos orange or two to the list of ingredients. And yet the professor claimed to have managed the feat. The question is how? Maybe he synthesized himself? Yes, it's entirely possible he may manufacture the nutrient using elements extracted from readily available labyrinthos produce. The process he employed, however, is a mystery. It'll take me months to research a manufacturing method from scratch. If we cannot allow the professor to submit his panel loaf unopposed, we need to consult with another expert on the subject. Rodzenhan is the home of alchemy, and one of its noted practitioners, Master Halvaz? I'm going with Halvaz. Is the Near East's leading authority in nutritional science. I've never had the pleasure myself, but perhaps he will assent to an audience if we show up on his doorstep. The new aetherite allows us to travel to Thabnir directly, so that should save us some time. Let's be swift and sure! And we might have to work on efficient. Alright. Off to Redzehan! Alright, need to go somewhere. Oh, I gotta go to fucking Yidley? In the wrong area. Alright, Deb. I feel sick to my stomach. What's nothing compared to the nausea I've suffered after one bite of the professor's panel loaf. Oh no. Trust me, I went through that ether sickness. It's not pleasant. Come on, we'll find a Master Halvaz in the city proper. Alright, now we go. Oops. Now we go. There's the elephant tribe over there. It's been so long. Maybe we should pay them a visit. Not. Take me away. Deb, what's up? You're not throwing up in that fountain, are you? So this is the fabled city of Rodzenhan. It's even more vibrant than I imagined. Yes, this is my first time to Thabnir. To be perfectly honest, this is the first time I've ever left Shalane. What have you said, so have you been here before? Yep. Then you can lead the way. I've studied the layout of this place from top to bottom on parchment, but in the flesh, I'd rather get lost. I'd probably get us lost before taking 10 steps. The documents I've read mention Master Halvaz's affiliation with the High Crucible of Alchemia. I wonder though. The man should be getting on in years, and he may very well be retired. Anyway, it's somewhere to start. Let's head there now and see if he's still in residence. Oh, jeez. Back to this nonsense. Alright. Teleport! Take me to the Ether Plaza! There's one thing I'm not looking forward to this patch, and it's the fact that we're getting new tomes. Which means back to tome grinding again. That's gonna be fucking fun. Now that is an impressive piece of an alchemic apparatus. Why, I wager they could concoct almost any mixture they please in such a grand furnace. Ugh. Apologies, just a lingering ethereal sickness. Let's press on. You know, that's alright. I can sympathize with you. Halvaz? Never heard of the fellow. He may have worked here once, but I know no one of that name among my present colleagues. And I suppose he used to be retarded after all. Actually, considering his age, there's no guarantee that man is even... Well, let's assume he's still among us. Oh shit, I skipped it. Alright. Just going down here now, huh? Yeah. They spared no expense in this facility when it comes to the field of alchemy. It would seem that Razahan and his mom's ahead of everyone else, even the learned professors of Charlan. Yeah, I would agree. You're looking for a Halvaz, the alchemist? That would be my great-grandfather, but it's been quite some time since he last worked here. Your great-grandfather. He was a great man. He is! Over 100 summers young, but still going strong. Jesus Christ, he's old. As a prominent scholar of nutrition and health, he's always practiced what he preaches. He's even spry enough to visit the tavern from time to time. If you head over to Mayride's Mayhan, you might have a chance to see him there. That's wonderful news, thank you! I'm very eager to meet him. There you have it, Tesla. Our next destination is Oh dear, Etherite child did not agree with me. Deep breaths and away to Mayride's Mayhan we go! You slow down. I don't need you throwing up all over the floor. Alright. There's the relics. A relic man. Alright. I don't see anyone who matched the portrait from the books, which makes sense considering how young he was in that particular picture. I wonder what he... Ugh. Still feeling it, huh? No, she's down. Miss? Don't you worry now, young lady. I'll brew a remedy that'll put you back on your feet in a twinkling. You're 100 years old. That must be the man we're looking for. Thank you, sir. I feel so much better. I never heard of a bout of ethereal sickness lasting this long. Oh no, my dear. You're quite clearly suffering from a severe case of anemia. All the symptoms point to a lack of ascorbic acid. Without that nutrient, your body has trouble absorbing iron, which in turn leads to a thinning blood, a disturbing pallor, and an extreme fatigue. The medicine I give you will remedy the immediate issues, but I strongly suggest you rethink your dietary habits. We wouldn't want your youthful promise stolen by a fatal cause of scurvy now, would we? Now that I think on it, I have been eating nothing but panaloaf samples since we started all this. It stands to reason that our yet to be perfected meals would leave me low on ascorbic acid. With all the XIV almost made they say the same mistake as Mervyn. Your knowledge of the nutritional science is most impressive, Master... Oh, it's just plain old Halvaz these days, my dear. I'm retired now, but I've learned a thing or two about healthy eating and longevity over the years. So you are Halvaz, I knew it! My name is Deb, and I study nutrition at the study room in Charlan. I come seeking wisdom from the foremost expert in the field. That being you, of course. If you know of a viable laboratory method of manufacturing ascorbic acid, then I humbly request you instruct me in the process. Well, isn't this a coincidence? It wasn't long ago that a professor from your study approached me looking to solve the exact same dilemma. Yes, I know of a method. I was one who discovered it. But the sweat of my brow comes at a price, Miss Deb, and a rather rich one at that. How rich? The professors had paid it without so much as raising an eyebrow, but I'm afraid the cost of my services is beyond the means of the average student. Oh, shit. Still, it hardly seems fair to turn you away at the gate. I'll tell you what, why don't I make you a deal? You see, I have always been a lover of curries, but when you've eaten as many as I have, you begin to grow tired of the same hottish flavors. Then I recently came to learn of a Eorzean-style curry plate that I am desperate to try. I obtained the recipe from a trader that I've met, and I've gone so far as to gather the ingredients so the cook here could take a stab at preparing the dish. But now destiny has been fit to drop a pair of Western travelers in my lap. Who better make a Western cuisine than the natives of those lands, eh? So here's my offer. You prepare the curry and I teach you the method, provided my palate is properly tickled. We accept! I promise you I'll make the most delicious curry you've ever tasted. The other visitor was also almost certainly Professor Galvaroche, which means the process he learned is one which can be followed using resources from Labyrinthos. What's more, Eorzean curry is one of the last stand's most famous dishes. I've made it many times. First, you caramelize the onions to bring out the sweetness. Add the bouillon, dice your choice of meat, and stew it until tender. Oh, and be sure to skim the floaty bits from the water, of course, and then... Okay, there she goes. She's on a rant again. Deb, save it for the kitchen. Save it for the shift. Sorry, I did it again, didn't I? Anyway, yes, I know all the steps, aside from the mixing the golden spice. Master Dickin was always the one to prepare that ingredient. If you could take care of that part, then I'd be more than happy to handle everything else. As I said, I have all the ingredients needed and more besides. Cook away and let me know when you're running low on anything. Ah, my mouth is watering already. Alright, I can do that. Leave it to me. My mobile kitchen. Again, I'm not quite sure how this works with one of these, but hey, that's just me. Oh. Making some Spice Girls. I got the golden spice. There you go. It smells wonderful. This will give our curry the perfect amount of zest. So this is what Eorzean curry looks like. Colors, the aroma, it's so different than what we serve here. Now for the all-important taste. Is it to your liking, sir? It's fantastic! The more you eat, the more layers of flavor compound to an harmonious orchestra of deliciousness. They say you can taste the chef's intention in a meal, and your determination to impress me has infused every bite. Then you'll share your method with us. Of course I will. A meal such as that is worth more than a man's weight in gold. So, coconut milk is the key. Alright. Thank you so much, Halvaz, sir. There is one more thing I'd like to ask, if I may. What, in your opinion, is the biggest secret into health and long life? A well-balanced diet is important, no doubt about that, but I believe you must enjoy what you eat. It's always seemed to me that digestion is aided by how much one relishes a meal. And the better one's digestion, the more nutrients one's body absorbs. Exactly. I've often thought that same myself. You've been a great help to us, sir. We wish you many more years of healthy living to come. This man's 100 years old. And although I'd love to more thoroughly explore Roz and Han's gourmet delights, we must hurry back to Shoreland. Perhaps another time. Hard to believe this guy's 100 summers old. He doesn't even look that old. Alright. We're going back. Thank you, Cessa, for accompanying me to such a far-flung locale and on such short notice. I don't know if I could have secured the alchemic process from Halvaz without your assistance. But now that we have it, our next batch of Mervyn bread will be well and truly perfect. This time, for certain. Let's hope. Oh, Cessla, what's up? Well, now. I've been trying to make this ascorbic acid. I've done exactly as Halvaz instructed, followed the steps to the letter, but it all ends in failure. As embarrassing as it is to admit, I simply lack the expertise. The process requires a far more competent hand than mine. And so here I am at the last, asking for your help once more. Please, I need you to manufacture the additive that will perfect our perfect meal. Sure. Here you go. I got what you need right here. Take it all away from me! Oh, I should go spend my stuff because I'm about to. I'm about to waste like 700 or 800. Or no, excuse me. Like 300 or 400 scripts if I don't turn these in. What recipes do I not have? I already have one of those, and I have those. Okay, so I built one of those. Which reminds me, I need to throw that on, and I can just throw this on right away. Alright. Take your stuff! Incredible, it's practically glowing with goodness! With this added to our creation, I have every confidence that the bread will pass in any test they care to subject it to. With our additive, well, added to the mix, I put a batch of Mervyn bread into the oven to bake. It should be ready any moment now. This is it, the final fluffy result of much trial and error. It looks so familiar. Huh. Well, have a bite. I don't want to. And how does it taste? Like streams of flavor blending into a single river of a brassial delight. Wonderful in the texture. It's like biting into a soft baked cloud. It's like natural laws and suspended to create this one moment of unparalleled puffy crusted bliss. Fantastic! And last but not least, what did you think of the aroma? The luscious savory smell is to die for! It's a siren scent of savory temptation which no mortal stomach can resist. we're very excited about this. Exactly what I thought. All of the desperate elements have come together so well. Flavor, texture, aroma, not to mention a perfect balance of nutrients. I had you to thank for this delectable achievement. Yes, I believe this current incarnation of Ribbon Bread has a good chance of swaying the form in our favor. You are attending the evaluation, aren't you? In fact, I must insist upon it. Gotta see it through to the end. Alright, last one. This is it, so the form is ready to begin the evaluation process. We've worked tirelessly on perfecting our submission, and I have every confidence that Mervinbird will be winning candidate. Come, let's make way to the roster, shall we? Alright. I know I said I wasn't confident, but the thoughts of actually standing before the form had my stomach in all knots. Courage, Deb, courage! And here we go, Bake Off. Esteemed colleagues, we have convened today to evaluate and select a suitable candidate for our proposed meal substitute. As previously discussed, this meal substitute will serve as an emergency provision, such as when our usual sources of food are restricted or otherwise unreliable. To be considered valuable, the submission must satisfy our stipulated conditions, namely that it must be possible to prepare the meal using only the ingredients available in Labyrinthos, and it also provides the nutrients necessary to sustain day-to-day survival. Our first of two candidates is the Panel Loaf, submitted by Professor Galbaroge, with whom I am sure you're all familiar. The second is the Mervyn Bread, submitted by one Miss Deb, a student of the Faculty of Medicine. Members of the Council of Culinary Assurance will select one of these candidates following a nutritional analysis and trial consumption of the samples provided. All right. Our analysis determined that both submissions meet the basic nutritional requirements to qualify as meal replacements. And as they share the distinct nutritional value, the only consideration left to judge them upon is taste. Even being generous, it would be difficult to describe the flavor of Panel Loaf as pleasing. Mervyn Bread, on the other hand, is a culinary delight. On the grounds of this assessment, Mervyn Bread is clearly the superior choice. I beg to differ. Yes, I admit that Panel Loaf has little to offer in the way of gastronomic enjoyment. But have you considered the matter from the viewpoint of efficiency? Mervyn Bread's flavor requires the addition of specific sweeteners and oils, not to mention a particular variety of yeast, an involved process which demands excessive time and exertion. The recipe for Panel Loaf, however, was devised with simplicity in mind, allowing one to manufacture the same quantity of food with but a fraction of the effort. I implore you to reconsider your decision. After all, this is an emergency combustible we are discussing here, not some gourmet menu item. You raise a valid argument, Professor. We have indeed overlooked the question of efficiency. Should a situation arise that necessitates the supply of emergency rations, then easy manufacture would certainly be a primary concern. In that respect, a Panel Loaf holds a significant advantage. Smug asshole. If I might offer an opinion. Who's this? Oh, hello. Master Flogstret. God, what a name. I'm calling you Flog. Master Flog, to what do we owe this unexpected pleasure? Curiosity, mostly. I may be retired, but all this talk of a perfect meal piqued my interest. Wait, I know you. And I know your delicious Mervyn bread. It is an unfortunate fact that fine food is often regarded with contempt here in Chilean. Many see the pursuit of gourmet cuisine as a trivial distraction, an inefficient use of one's precious time. Yet, when a retired researcher craves a refreshing cup of sweet tea, is it a question of a simple desire, or is it the body's way of signaling the lack of a certain nutrient? And what of the comfort added by those inefficient tastes and flavors? Surely we have all experienced the calm reassurance provided by a hearty dish. The same principle can be observed with the soothing familiarity of home-cooked favorites. Why, when my academic cogs are frustrated by some intractable problem, it is for that very soothing effect that I visit my beloved last stand. As such, I submit that taste plays a far greater role in our well-being than simple enjoyment. Imagine, if you will, a prolonged crisis, and then tell me which of these foods you prefer to consume day after day after day. Faced with the struggle to survive, which of these meals would best serve to bolster your mental and emotional fortitude? To be perfectly honest, the very thought of eating loaf for more than a single day brings me to the edge of panic. Hardly a state one wishes to be in when dealing with a crisis. Yeah, I see when take into account the additional effort required in its preparation, a satisfied meal is more likely to contribute to a rational frame of mind, which, in the long run, may prove to be more efficient benefit. Now that all interested parties have made their arguments, the time has come to put the matter to a vote. The results speak for themselves. Loaf, 1 vote. Mervyn Bread, 5 votes. Congratulations, Miss Deb. Your submission has been accepted as Chilean's official emergency meal replacement recipe. Professor, your research is still very much a part of... what a sore loser. What a sore loser! Bread sucks, old man. Get used to it. Oh, that was near a thing. I was near a near thing. At least until our last stand, a supporter chimed in. I never knew he was a former member of the forum. I'd say we can safely call this the end of the matter, although there is one last thing I'd like to ask you, Cecila. Despite his rigid way of thinking, Professor Galvro is not a bad person. Perhaps I can make him a nice meal to soften the blow of his loss. With a little extra help. I'll get my apron. I knew you couldn't refuse. When you have a moment, come and meet me at the last stand. Alright. Now, as for the professor's meal, I thought we might make him a serving of fish cakes, one of our local specialties. According to Master Dick and Mervyn and Galvaros used to eat them all the time during their student years. To prepare the fish cakes, you take a white fish and some onion, grind to a paste. And milk and pepper and knead well, then sprinkle in the flour before rolling the mixture into oval shapes and fry them in boiling hot oil. You don't need the whole entire recipe. The oil is important. If you can make me some exceptional frying oil, it will improve the overall flavor of the fish cakes. The rest of the dish you can leave to me. If you find yourself lacking ingredients, okay. Fucked it up! Fucked it up! There we go. Got it that time. Here you go. Perfect. This will be ingredient. This will be the ingredient which brings the whole dish together. I've already sent a message to Professor Galvaroche asking to meet us here, but hopefully he hasn't eaten yet. Why'd you send him for me? You taunt me with your victory in a place in which I care for the least? Of course not, sir. We only wanted you to offer you this meal as a gesture of goodwill. Please eat. Enjoy. That was good. That may be a simple they may be simple dishes, but Shalane does have its own local specialties. The art of quality cuisine was never wholly absent from our culture, despite what people think. I would never argue the importance of nutrition, but I believe what Master Halvaz says is true. Enjoyment of a meal tends to encourage digestion, and thus a more efficient intake of nutrients. When I first proposed a recipe for Archon loaf, I did so with Mervyn in mind. He was always so focused on his research that he neglected his dietary needs, and I thought to devise a convenient yet nutritious source of his sustenance. He was taken from me before I had the chance to complete it. I was grief-stricken, angry at the loss of my friend, and his gourmet lifestyle became the target of my rage. Though it pains me to admit it, he was responsible for his own actions. It was wrong of me to lay the blame on the thing he loved most. Loved too much, it seems. And after considering the arguments laid out at the evaluation, I am forced to recognize that taste is an integral part of my work. I shall begin research on a new perfect meal, one which will taste even better than your vaunted Mervyn bread. But Mervyn bread was never solely ours, Professor. It was your research and your panel which provided this nutritional basis for our recipe. Sus and I simply improved the palatability, but while maintaining the balance which made it healthy in the first place. Mervyn bread is much of your creation as it is mine or Cecila's, which is why I implore you to continue improving it. With your resources and expertise, there's no one better positioned to solve the recipe's lingering issues with the inefficiency. In that case, I shall need an assistant. Together, you and I will test the boundaries of what was possible in the field of gourmet health cuisine. Speaking of fine foods, I do have one complaint about those fish cakes of yours. There were too few. I seem to recall the dish being much larger back when Mervyn and I used to eat them. Are there more, perchance? What's that big box there? Sir! What are you holding in that box? Guess I'll never know. I do believe that was the first time I've seen the professor smile. I'm glad our fish cake special had the desired effect. But my work at the stadium in the last stand has just begun. I have an entire city to convince of the benefits of fine dining. Fortunately, it seems the professor is on our side now. We can expect the laboratory's research to expand to taste-related fields. As part of my ongoing mission, I'll do my utmost to see that it succeeds. Ah yes, this place is well suited to the study of flavor-based nutrition. We began our research with more efficient preparation methods immediately. He's eager to work. And here I thought my days of frantic baking were over. After I wash out my mixing bowls. Thank you for all your help, Cessa. I could not have asked for a more perfect kitchen mate. Please do come and visit me from time to time, both at the Studium and as a valued patron of the Last Stand. Sure. It's done! It's done! The last of the Studiums! Nice! You've completed all the Studium quests. It seems Kialia posed something to ask of you. Alright. We're done! All the Studium quests are complete. So, in the next part, we will do the big wrap-up quest for the Studium. And, we will be ready to take on patch 6.4. So, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next part. Later.